Good morning. Good morning. Sean here with Accelerators Organization, ready for another mentor session. Remember, after I do this mentor session in the Facebook group, my assistant Honey is going to download the video and upload it to YouTube, and then she'll send you an email directly with a link to where I'm answering your question to save you time so you don't have to watch the entire video but still get answers. And then in that email that she sends you, she's going to let you know what other mentors are going to answer the question. And then throughout the month, you'll get additional emails. This is a really cool process to be able to get you great insight, experience sharing, and advice from lots of different quality mentors who have great business experience. So keep asking questions and let's get this thing started. First question comes from Kimberly, and Kimberly says, what policy or process would you recommend I implement into a contract between my business in the event the staff of the associate clinic are not providing satisfactory treatments to the employees we send them? As I do a SWAT analysis, this situation could be a possible threat that I would like to create a solution to. Thanks. The background is I am having a contract created between my company, Serene Workforce, and our associate clinics. We will be referring employees of the companies who purchase our massage program to our associate clinics for their treatments. We want to be sure the experience they receive is consistent and the massage therapists are maintaining our core values of our business when they are treating the clients we send them. Thank you so much. Always appreciate your insight. Okay, I think what Kimberly is saying is that she's going to have one company entity that's going to actually be going and contracting with companies to provide wellness benefits like massage. And then she's going to use clinics, which will be separate companies, in order to go do the work. And there will be kind of a joint venture type of relationship of some sort. And we want to look at the quality assurance being provided by the actual clinics themselves. Whew. Well, the process is this would be called quality assurance. And we would want to, if it were me, as I think about this off the top of my head here, so I'm just going to roll with this. If it were me and I was selling a service like this to a company, I would, for sure, the first thing that comes to my head is I would want to implement some sort of surveying online, maybe even iPad, put it, when the technician gets done providing a service and they're checking out from the service, I would have an iPad kiosk type of situation to rate the overall experience of the actual service being provided. And it could be anonymous, or it could, you got to figure out what information you'd want to gather to be able to provide that type of survey. And that would allow me to get immediate feedback from the people that are receiving the services. So some sort of kiosk type of situation. And I know that iPads, you can do that with. My old company, actually, Uniguest, Uniguest, I think that they have those types of kiosks that you can use for that, but you could also just use an iPad with like a Google form or something like that. So that way you're getting feedback directly from them. I would also want to have a relationship between the human resource person or whoever's going to be the point of contact at the company, have a dedicated account executive with the corporate office, your corporate company that sold the deal, to keep an open line of communication for quality assurance to see if there's any type of feedback that's coming in from employees of that company that are receiving the service. I would want to put together some sort of certifying training program with the clinics to make sure that they are trained on all areas of service that are going to be provided to the company's employees to make sure that they know exactly how something should happen. No questions asked. They're not making anything up. They're following a system, just like when you walk into a McDonald's. They're following a system of the way they do things, and they're trained from a therapeutic perspective the way that you want them to be trained. I would also have some sort of feedback form for the technicians that are working at the clinics to let you know immediately, like set up a process that if something happens with an employee of the company in which they're providing a service, if something happens, you create some sort of trouble ticket and it gets escalated within the clinic itself, and then the clinic has some sort of dedicated account executive at the corporate office so that there's always a clear path of communication. That's where there's a lot of breakdown that can occur sometimes in situations like that, when there are not clear, concise paths of communication streams, and what the escalation, what gets escalated up to potentially even you if something is going to get escalated. So I'd put in a lot of those processes into play. Those are the things that come up in my mind right now. Yeah, I think that's what I would do. Let us know how it goes, Kimberly. Hope that helps. Okay, the next question comes from Scott Lewis. Scott says, are there other options for office phone service? I currently pay $350 per month for my phones and internet, and every time there's an issue with my phone system, I have to call for a service call. I'm looking for options. Okay, Scott, I wish I could help you on this one, but I don't really know too much about phone systems these days. All my team works remote, and we all just use our cell phones. I don't even have a company phone number, so I'm not real familiar with what phone options are available out there. I know that Google Voice has a great system for businesses. What is that other one that I heard? Maybe it was Leapfrog or something like that, or I forget. I know there's quite a few what's called voice over IP type of solutions where everything can be in the cloud and you can have dedicated phone numbers without having to have what's called a PBX system or something located at a physical location. And what happens is when people dial your main number, it goes in the cloud. It has an auto response. Hi, you've reached the offices of SCOJO. For Scott Lewis, press 1. For Shawn Thomas, press 2. For marketing, press 3. For accounting, press 4. And based on the numbers they press, that can go directly to a cell phone, or it can just go straight to like a line that acts like it's ringing, and then it says, hey, this is Scott, and it just leaves a voicemail, and then it sends you the message on a voicemail, and you can follow up with the client. So I know there's a lot of digital voice over IP type of solutions like that are relatively inexpensive. But it sounds like if you've got your internet and phone for $350 a month, it doesn't sound outrageous depending on how many lines you have for your team members. But generally speaking, a lot of small businesses and remote businesses are going to those voice over IP type of systems and then have it directed to an appropriate person when someone says press 1 for Scott, and then it comes directly to your cell phone. So that might be something to take a look at. But I can only speak about my internet. My internet is $100 to maybe $100 a month for a terabyte or gigabyte plan, that type of thing. So it doesn't sound like it's outrageous depending on how many lines you have. I'll try to put this question to a couple mentors that I think might still be using phone systems, and hopefully they can give you a good response. Okay, but I know pricing all depends on how many phone lines you're using, how many dedicated lines, how many what's called DID numbers, direct numbers. What kind of voicemail capabilities, all those types of things. All right. I hope that helps, Scott. Okay. The next question comes from Rohit. And Rohit says, what are the best or most necessary apps needed for a Shopify store? The background says, we just created our online store with Shopify and realized there's lots of apps. Not sure which ones are needed to have a successful business. Well, I wish I could help you with this one too, Rohit, but I've never run a Shopify store myself as well, at least not a good one or anything. I will make sure that there's a couple mentors that I think have Shopify stores, and I'll see if they can answer this question for you. I know that it really depends on what your needs are, and there are just an absolute infinite amount of things that you can do with a Shopify store as far as coupons and pop-ups and checkout and abandoned cart type of apps and CRM type stuff. I know there's so much you can do with Shopify. If it were me, and so I'm just sharing what I would do if it were me and I was going to start a Shopify store, and I am going to start a Shopify store for Accelerators Organization, I would go to Upwork and I would search for an expert level, not an intermediate or beginner, but an expert level Shopify designer and developer. because there's a lot that goes on when developing a Shopify store, just like a regular website. Your Shopify store needs to already have what the branding is from a strategy perspective, like what's the vision, what's the mission, what's the story, what are the core values, who's the team, what kind of products and services are offered, what's the unique selling proposition, what makes that company, the store, the e-commerce store, what makes it unique, proper imagery, logos, icons, symbols, color palette, theme, design, layout, everything. All of that is super, super important because e-commerce is such a competitive world out there. And then, so what I would want to do is I'd want to have my brand strategy done. I'd want to have my brand identity kit done with my logos, my color palettes, any symbols or icons, things that would help a designer know that when they're going to choose a type of Shopify theme to go with, because there's thousands and thousands of pre-template themes that you can use, or you can design your own. I would want to provide them that branding identity kit so that they could present to me 3 different themes for Shopify that I could use. Or what I also might want to do is I might want to go visit, 5 or 10 different Shopify stores, e-commerce stores, and find ones that I really like and what I like about them. And I would have a powwow, a meeting with my Shopify designer, and I'd say, I really like these websites. I like that this site does this, and I like that this site does this, and this site has this feature, and this site has this feature, and I like this look and feel. And that way the designer can take all those things into consideration when they design my Shopify store. And getting back to your question, they would know, based on what an e-commerce store can do, what the possibilities are, what apps should be installed on my Shopify store. They would be able to ask, because they're expert level, they're going to know what questions to ask to determine what apps are needed. It would be it would take me so much time to research all the hundreds of different apps out there and figure out which ones to use. I would rather I want to focus on my business, not becoming a Shopify expert. I want to understand it, and I want to have a consultant working with me to tell me what works, what doesn't, what I should do, that type of stuff. And so that's who I would rely on to figure out what apps I would want to use, because I know that it can be very cumbersome. I will try to have a couple other mentors answer this for you, and I might rephrase your question a little bit so that they can really understand what they would do even if they don't have a Shopify store. What would they do if they were going to build an e-commerce store? And that way you can get some additional insight from them, okay? All right, I hope that helps. Okay, the next question comes from Rohit. And Rohit says, how or where do you find the main distributor for your products? The background is, I want to bypass the middleman and get right to the source to get my products cheaper. Okay, the first thing to take into consideration there is the only way for a lot of businesses that you're going to be able to get the cheapest is based on volume and how much you purchase. You could always just do a simple Google search of manufacturers of the types of products that you want to purchase and contact the manufacturer directly. Find out what their wholesale or distribution type of situation is. Like, do they sell through distributors? What would it take to become a distributor? Do they sell through wholesalers? Same thing. And then find out what their pricing is. Depending on the manufacturer, they might only sell to distributors based on certain minimum volumes, because a lot of times, if it's a big manufacturer, they don't want to have to be dealing with someone who's going to order 100 pieces or even 1,000 pieces. They want to deal with somebody who's going to buy 100,000 pieces, and then that distributor that buys it for 100,000 pieces is going to be able to sell 1,000 pieces at a time. So just contact Google is your friend. Look on Google, find the manufacturer, get their contact information, reach out to them, and find out what you would need to do to become a distributor, a direct distributor, or a direct wholesaler. And any manufacturer is going to have that information. They're going to have an employee who handles that type of situation. So that's how I would do it. All right, hope that helps. Okay, the next question comes from Ashley, and Ashley says, what is the best way to organize your clients? The background is, I own a residential and commercial cleaning company, and I am currently doing the paper and pen thing in my notebook, and it's working, but I'm afraid if I grow too much faster than most, what I am now, things are going to get missed and lost. Unfortunately, right now, my car is basically our office, so my other thought was to get a program called ZenMade. which is an online booking platform that also has many other features as well. Okay, I know that there are industry-specific, what's called CRM, customer relation management softwares out there in the marketplace. Like, for instance, I know for the barbershop and salon business, there's a software called Vagaro. There might be a cleaning business software like the one you mentioned, and I would certainly check that out. I want to make sure that I can house all of my client information. It would be great if you could do online booking through it. I want to see what type of capabilities it has as far as managing money, as far as being able to have reports that would show me all of my income and expenses and all those types of things associated with the client. Otherwise, I'd want to see if that software might link with a software for like QuickBooks or Xero for your accounting software for your taxes and things like that. But a CRM software is going to be what it is you're looking for. I use Entreport for all of the AO members. I can send emails. I can add notes. I can create tasks. I can assign them certain categories so they would have access to this but not access to this. I can, so I manage the entire user experience in the portal and then also just them as a client. Handle their subscriptions, any additional payments that someone might make for an event, things like that. So it's called CRM software, customer relationship management software. You might want to just review a couple. I think it would certainly make sense to take a look at an industry specific type of software in case there are ones that are specifically designed for cleaning businesses. Otherwise, you could use a software like Entreport. You could use a software like Salesforce.com. Zoho, HubSpot, there's a lot out there. The best CRM software in the world is the one that you're actually going to get trained to use and you're going to use it. Most of them do almost all the same stuff. It's just getting trained to know what it can do and then actually using it. And traditionally speaking, when you do buy a CRM software, you want to have some sort of expert consultant that knows that software inside and out and let them train you and set it up for you so that you don't have to do it all yourself and then you just use it. That right there could save you hours and hours and hours and hours of aggravation if you will just trust the process and hire an expert as opposed to trying to teach yourself and learn it yourself. Okay? Hope that helps, Ashley. Okay, and the next question comes from Yolindi. And Yolindi says, I feel like I need to stop, go back and restart with the basics. I had already started my business when I joined AO, and I don't have the basic foundation and processes down. Where do you recommend I start? I need a clear vision and roadmap and projections on where I'm going and how to get there. The background is we manufacture decorative throw pillows and pillow inserts. The potential for growth is huge. We currently do around $15,000 a month, but I need at least double and triple that. I can't scale haphazardly. This needs to be very calculated and planned. Okay, so every business is basically the same, Yolindi. Basically, you know your product that you offer out to the marketplace. You have throw pillows and pillow inserts. So who is the ideal customer? Where is the lowest hanging fruit for you to have a salesperson, even if that person is you or someone on your team now, that's going to contact all of those different companies to try to open up new business and get clients and get contracts. Then you're going to manage the operational facility of being able to actually manufacture, box up, and ship out to your clients. So that's the business model. I don't know much about that business. You say it could be huge, but let's just say I want to get this business to $1 million, because every business can be huge. That's kind of like rhetoric. This could be a huge opportunity. Okay, well, what does that mean? What do we want to get this thing to? So let's just say for right now, you want to get this to $1 million, and you want to make sure that on that $1 million that you have at least 15 to 20% net profit at the end of the day, even after paying yourself a reasonable salary and your team a reasonable salary. You still have $150,000 of net profit coming into the company. So that's the process. Who's going to be making sales calls every day out to the potential clients to close more deals? How are you going to process those? So say, for instance, you want to take it down to the granular level. When you make a sale with a client, what happens? Well, we send them a contract. We follow up to get the contract signed. We then send them an invoice. We then work out a logistics schedule. Then we send it to our designers. Our designers work with their team to figure out. So there's a process all the way from the time that a client signs all the way until they maybe receive their first shipment. What does that look like? Now, I know from experience you're going to say, well, it depends on the client. Well, of course it does, but they're all going to follow some sort of similar flow, because you're going to have, if they're going to buy pillows from you and they're going to be decorative pillows, there's probably going to be some sort of design in the pillows. How do they figure out what design? So that's part of the process. Figure out what design. Is it a pre-template design that's already done in your library, and how do they choose from that? Or is it a custom design decorative throw pillow and they need to send you artwork? If they don't have artwork, you have a graphic designer that would work with them at a predetermined hourly rate or just package rate to do the designs for the pillows. Then you got to get them to sign off on this design is accurate. Then you might create a sample and send them a sample, either a picture, or you actually send them a sample. So these are all the processes that you would put into play. And we want to manage that entire organizational process from sales all the way to preparation in order to sampling to actual delivery and billing. And so then during that process, you have to figure out, okay, well, what is our billing process? Do we get 50% up front, 25% up front, 25% at this phase, 50% at the end? And is it net 15, net 30? What's the billing like? So those are all the processes that we want to set up. And then you want to manage your team internally. So every day I want to meet with my team and say, hey, everybody, we're going to have a daily huddle every day for 5 or 10 minutes. I want you to come to the meeting, and there's processes actually in the leadership section of the AO Resource Center. There's documents that JT provided on how to run meetings. And basically, does anybody have anything that's an emergency, anything that's being held up that needs quick attention, and to see if we need to have a meeting on it, or can we solve it real quick right now? And I would have those daily meetings with my team. And that's the foundation of business. You're already you're running business, so you've got some sort of foundation built. But that's the process. The challenges that we find with a lot of startups, as you're probably finding, is they're not time blocking and calling on clients all the time. They're managing cash flow. So I can't get too many clients because I don't have the cash flow. Here's the thing, though, on a cash flow perspective, if you have enough clients signing on the dotted line and they're signing contracts and you're sending out invoices, for cash flow purposes, you can work out relationships with accounts receivable companies and things like that to get the bulk of that invoice immediately to you from a cash flow perspective, so you can run the business. I know that you've had a lot of moving things happen over the last, even in the last year, but these are the foundational things. I could work with you one-on-one a little bit, but probably on this type of situation, them.As.I would be a good person for you to work with if you really wanted someone to work with you one-on-one and help you develop that path. Generally speaking, it's the entrepreneur that develops the vision and the path. But if you need some help with this, Dan would be, I think, perfect. Or maybe even Joel, since he's also a little bit in your business of working with customers, even though he's e-commerce. You guys have similar of shipping things out. So either Dan or Joel. Dan, I think at this moment is a little bit less expensive. I think he's about $1,000 a month. Joel is about $3,000 a month. He works with really higher level companies, but Dan, I think, is about $1,000 a month. And to have a partner, someone as experienced and has as much knowledge as Dan, to be able to hire someone like that for $1,000 a month would be absolutely killer amazing for your business. Kind of like the same success that you had with Tom going out and getting businesses, but you started getting so much business that you had to stop. So same thing, if you think you need to step back and really get the processes and everything mapped out, Dan would be the right thing. Send me an email and I can get you an introduction to Dan, but I think it would be really worth it for you. Okay? All right, Yolandi, thank you. Hope that helped. Okay, the next question comes from, and this is the last question, it comes from Corey. And Corey says, when do you know if it's the right time to approach your prospect with your product or opportunity? The background is I'm an independent distributor for a global health and wellness company, network marketing. After establishing a relationship with the prospect and building rapport with them, how will you know when it's the right time to approach them with your opportunity or product? How will you go about approaching them with what you have to offer? Okay, so let's work on the sales terms here. Until somebody is a qualified prospect, they're not really a prospect. If you just meet somebody out at a networking event, that's just a lead. A lead is the highest, at the very, very, very top of your funnel. Everybody is a lead. The person that you talk to at the grocery store is a lead. Anybody you meet is a lead. The first thing we want to do in order to bring them down the sales funnel or through the sales funnel is we want to qualify the prospect. You have to determine for your business what type of person would be a qualified prospect. Are you talking about a potential customer that would buy the product, or are you talking about a person who would become a potential distributor and be in your downline? Those are two different qualifications, right? If it's somebody who you want to pitch your product to, when you're having a conversation, hey John, it was really nice meeting you at the networking event yesterday. Really enjoyed, getting to know you. Your business sounds really fascinating. I noticed that you're really into health. And as I told you, I am a health and wellness coach. And I wanted to find out, are you taking or using any of these specific types of products or supplements or whatever in your daily life in order to get the maximum potential? And if not, I'd love to see if there's a chance that I can meet with you to just show you the stuff that I work with. And it may or may not be something you're interested in, but I would love to come by and meet with you. Would you have some time maybe next Tuesday or Thursday? Remember, you want to just qualify that they're interested and then book an appointment. And then on the appointment, you would start your sales process. But that's the moment that you're trying to qualify them to see if they're even interested. And they may or may not be interested right then. And you may have to just continue to keep them on your email list and send them articles that would help them, bring some value to them, to where eventually you might send them one article and they go, you know what, Corey? I didn't think that I would be interested in some of the stuff you're doing, but I really like the articles you're sending and the benefits of this particular supplement or this workout or whatever. Why don't we get together? I'd love to hear about what you have to offer. So sales is a long-term relationship building, and someone could be a potential prospect, a lead in your system for years until finally they go, you know what? I'm ready to take a look at this. So everybody is a lead. Not everybody is a qualified prospect. If somebody is broke, has no money, they're poor, they can't afford anything, they're about to claim bankruptcy, even if they need your product, they're not a qualified prospect because they don't have the money to buy it. Or maybe somebody is happy with the current products and services that they're using that are competitive to yours, and then they wouldn't be a qualified prospect. But you might still keep them in your system on your email list to continue sending out monthly newsletters and things like that to build value so that someday they might go, oh, you know what? That actually sounds interesting. I might take a look at that. So that's how you bring up the conversation. Just like you have watched the videos in Pro Code Sales, it's about establishing a relationship. It's not, remember this, Corey, relationships take time. It is very, very rare that you're just going to meet somebody, tell them what you do, and they're going to buy from you. It takes a long, long time to build a relationship sometimes. So remember that to keep the long term. Don't ever be pushy. Don't ever, make somebody feel uncomfortable. It should always just be, hey, this is what I do. Would love to talk to you about it. Or if you ever hear of anybody who's really looking to focus, whatever your type of scenario is. Is it somebody that wants to gain strength, somebody that wants to increase flexibility, somebody that wants to increase mobility, someone that wants to lose weight, somebody that wants to make their skin better, whatever the products are that your company has probably put together literature and training on product knowledge of what the products and services do. So they're going to be able to help you with what the unique selling features are. But as far as learning how to sell, Pro Code Sales is going to help you. The sales articles that are in the Resource Center are going to help you. And then it's all just it's a numbers game. It's a contact sport. Get out there and talk to as many people. But remember, don't be pushy. Don't try to push someone to do something that they don't really want to do, because that's not only going to affect your relationship with them, but then they're going to have a negative feeling about you. And if somebody asks about you, they're gonna give a negative recommendation or testimonial. All right. So don't be pushy. Just always be, hey, I'm in the wellness business. I noticed that you like to work out. Would love to talk to you about the supplements that we offer to see if there's anything that might benefit you. No pressure. Just want to show you what I do. Maybe I could take a look at what you do as well, and we can collaborate and network. regardless of whether you use my products or services or not. At least you know what I do, and whether you use it or you know somebody, you could refer them to me, okay? So remember, everybody's a lead, not everybody's a prospect, okay? I hope that helps, and that is today's mentor session. I hope you guys got some value from this, and remember, Honey is gonna send you an email directly with your link to the video. I hope you guys have a great day. Get some questions in. Remember, getting the perspective of myself and all the other mentors to different things that you're looking to do in your business and in your life as an entrepreneur. We can all share the experiences of what we did to get to where we are. And that's why we're here, is to share those experiences with you. Maybe give you 1 or 2 ideas that can help you think about something differently that might otherwise avoid a mistake that you would make that would cost you valuable time and money at this phase of your journey, okay? Later on in life, you can afford to lose thousands and thousands of dollars on a mistake and it not affect you. But at this point of your journey, let's try to avoid as many mistakes as we can, okay? What's up, Nigel? Good to see you. Marilyn, how's it going? Thanks, Rosalie. You guys have a great day. Rosalie, Marilyn, Nigel, can't wait to see you guys at the Summer Social. All right, have a great day. Peace out.